In recent years, people have debated whether or not video games are art. Well, what if we switched up the question? Can art be a video game? And that's pretty much what we get with Nubla, now out on the North American PlayStation 4. But is this game a masterpiece, or is it just a confusing mess? Nubla is an extremely short, experimental, artistic experience. Nubla has you playing as a male or female character that you get to pick from the beginning, and then you get to explore an art museum, solving puzzles, and finding pieces of a constellation that end up equating to a very large elephant that you run into near the end of the game. You spend a lot of the game just kind of walking forward to each of the pieces of art that you'll be able to enter and then find the puzzles that you need to solve. While there are a few little bit more complicated puzzles, for the most part it's just finding an object and taking it to where it needs to go in order to unlock the next door. A lot of the puzzles are pretty self-explanatory, matching symbols or turning something so that you're able to get through an opening. The game never gets too difficult as far as the puzzle solving goes, which is the core mechanic of really the gameplay with Nubla. The game is broken up into several different chapters, and as you're exploring the art museum and entering pieces of art, you will interact with other masterpieces and classic art that you may recognize. A lot of the references in the game go to, of course, classic art, some of which I knew and some of which I didn't. It's a really cool concept that I feel like is just delivered a little too poorly. And that's really just because of the way you actually play the game. A lot of times you're just kind of walking. Picking up an object even seems a bit clunky. You hit a button press, and then a second or so later, then your character seems to react to the button press and do whatever it is you're telling them to do. There was a puzzle very early on in the game that was kind of like a match the sound Simon type game, and when I would press the button on the thing I needed to, it was a long delay before it reacted, which ended up causing me to mess up the first few times. There's also a bit of platforming, though jumping doesn't really feel all that great, and sometimes I got stuck on a platform or kind of got stuck on the edge of a platform and having to go off and then jump again in order to get where I was trying to go. There's also some crawling, and sometimes I ended up getting completely stuck as is, but thankfully there's a teleport button using the square button. That will allow you to kind of get through a couple areas that you'll need to, and in fact even bypass a few areas at a couple of spots. And while I do enjoy this concept and like the music, there's some really nice melodic stuff that goes throughout the course of your adventure, the problem with Nubla is the fact that it is so incredibly short. In fact, it will probably take you an hour or less, even without a guide, to complete the game. The only time you'll really kind of mess up with puzzles, maybe at the very beginning when you first get to them, you have to kind of figure out what you're doing, but after just a few moments you'll get it, and the only time you'll really mess up is if the game ends up glitching, as a couple of things can be a little bit finicky when it comes to the puzzle solving. From the technical side of things, while the game didn't crash, I mean, there were all those problems with just kind of platforming, walking along, and trying to interact with objects that just made the whole experience feel really clunky. Nubla is available on the PlayStation 4 for $11.99, which is just way too much for what you're going to end up getting out of the game. It does feature a trophy list and a platinum, and if you're a trophy hunter like I am, you probably have heard of Nubla before, as it was available only in the UK for a long period of time, and featured one of, if not the easiest platinum on the system, before My Name is Mayo ended up coming out. But now it's on the North American store, so that's going to be really one of the only drawing factors for some people to even check out this game. But in the end, I'm going to be giving Nubla a 4 out of 10. It's just way too expensive and short, even with the beautiful artwork and music that goes along with the game. Easy trophy list or not, this one is not worth picking up for its current price point, and if it was cheaper, I could recommend it to some. But that's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.